Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Archie's Briefings. I'm your host, Arshel Branch, and today, you guys, we're going to talk about Jasmine Crockett and her views on DOGE giving the American people $5,000. That's the number that has been thrown out in the air. And Jasmine Crockett, my goodness, you guys know how I feel about the ratchet. We're going to talk about her and her feelings about DOGE. Before we go ahead and do that, I want you to take the time, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so that way you guys are following us, you're keeping up with the channel and all the rest. So we want to keep, growing and growing and growing. Hit the notification bell so that way you never miss an episode. You guys, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Archie Financial. And without further ado, you guys, let's go ahead and let's talk about Jasmine Crockett because, oh my goodness, some things. I've been scrolling through my YouTube channel and there's some things. Let's go ahead without further ado. Let's go ahead and let's talk about it, shall we? There is something that has been on my heart that I did want to discuss. Discipline is a huge part of being productive, being lucrative. I'm not for anything that goes against true productivity, true sovereignty of the individual. The choices that we make are what's going to be up for judgment. All right, you guys. So as I said in the open, we're going to talk about Jasmine Crockett and her reaction to DOGE wanting, well, President Trump and DOGE wanting to give money to the American people. Obviously, you guys, we did talk about this, what DOGE was finding, all the fraudulent behavior coming from the federal government, from the USAID to the CFPB to now with the Social Security. I didn't realize we had people that were 400 years old, almost 400 years old, receiving Social Security. I mean, my goodness, that would mean that Social Security actually existed when we were the colonies. Kind of interesting on that, right? So, I mean, the fact that all this fraudulent behavior from the federal government is happening and she is, just, words. There's just some words I'm not going to say. You guys know I don't really like to curse on this channel, but my goodness, Jasmine Crockett is a problem for me. As I said, you guys, I have this obsession with the ratchet in power. I mean, I have an issue with the black woke in power, period. But especially with the ratchet, I am going to make it a habit on this channel to point out the woke black individuals and the ratchet black individuals in power, because I do think it's important. Whether you are half black like myself or a black individual, or really just any American who is concerned about the state of the public, the American people, black Americans included. Why do they keep voting for individuals like this? As I said in previous episodes, you guys, when I was talking about Tiffany Henyard, when I listen to women who are ratchet specifically, it feels like I'm watching the National Geographic and just these ratchet people, these animals in their natural habitat. And at some point, it's just, you really want your fellow Black Americans who are on the left to get why they shouldn't be voting for these individuals. So why did I decide to talk about Jasmine Crockett today? Why am I speaking about her reaction to DOGE? Two things. I saw her interview on one of these news media outlets, and they asked her, what did she think about President Trump wanting to issue out $5,000 to the American people? And her statements were kind of just ridiculous. I mean, you're okay with handouts anyway. I mean, you're okay with black people and black women especially getting money from the government when it comes to welfare, when it comes to getting rental assistance and food stamps. And I'm not saying that these things are problematic in its entirety, but the idea that the government pays the American everything that they could possibly want. That's how this is supposed to function. That's what she thinks, anyhow. That when the federal government comes out and says they actually want to give money to the American people because the federal government has been so fraudulent, why not just give them to the American people? And now, one of the things that I actually wanted to point out to you guys, because as I said, I was scrolling through my YouTube channel and somebody pointed out that her statements contradict the very message of reparations. And I thought it was hilarious. So rather than showing the interview where she says this about why she doesn't believe that the American people should be paid this money, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play the clip from the DC shorts because I think they're fantastic. This was absolutely hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing. So before I go any further about what I think, my views, let's go ahead and let's run that clip first, shall we? Because I couldn't stop laughing. She shot herself in the foot. Let's go ahead and let's run that, shall we? All right, you guys. So this is the clip from the Daily Caller. Oh my goodness, this was absolutely hilarious. I thought they nailed it, how they cut it together, how they edited it. I couldn't stop laughing. And it did make me think, oh my goodness, she really should have kept her mouth shut. So let's go ahead and let's run it so that way you can see what I'm talking about. Let's go ahead. Let's do that, shall we?
Texas congressional rep Jasmine Crockett has been losing her cool just a bit since Trump won the election.
We are going to be in your face. We are going to be on your asses.
The coddling is for the white boys. That's what's happening right now. I am tired of the white tears.
Not these white tears, though. She loves that white boy.
You know why I don't feel a way and why you can't make me doubt who I am? Is because I know that I had to work 10 times they did just to get into the seat. When you look and you compare me to Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert, there is no comparison.
Okay, let's start with there's no comparison between her and Marjorie Greene Taylor's and Lauren Boebert's. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the one thing she gets right in any of her statements, right? There is no comparison. They are not ratchet. You are. And let's be clear, somebody might get in the comments and say, oh, well, of course they're not ratchets because they're white. The equivalent of ratchet for Black Americans, when we're talking about white folk, right? We would say white trash, right? If you're white, you're white trash. If you're Black, you're ratchet. If you're a woman, you're ratchet. If you're a man or a woman, you could be ghetto. So this is a question of when's the last time you saw white Americans vote for what Black folk call white trash? I don't see that very often at all. Okay, let's let her continue, shall we?
There has been no oppression for the white man in this country. You tell me which white man's out of their homes. You tell me which one of them got dragged all the way across an ocean and told that you are going to go and work. We are going to steal your wives. We are going to rape your wives. That didn't happen. That is oppression.
Oh boy, sounds like this race lady would get behind reparations for Black people. Kind of like H.R. 40, introduced just a week prior.
Today, I'm deeply honored to reintroduce H.R. 40, historic legislation to establish a federal commission to examine the lasting legacy of slavery, to develop reparations proposals for descendants of enslaved Africans.
But Crockett may have accidentally slaughtered reparations with her big mouth.
President Trump says he likes the idea of giving some of the savings from DOGE back to Americans as kind of a dividend. Would you support that?
He's not the one that had anything to do with the $1,200 refunds that people had during the midst of COVID. They already know that there's just no money for that. The only reason that those refunds came before was because we were living in different times. So no, we are not in the business of giving out money. And honestly, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you.
Okay. So before I let her go on, y'all heard what she said. That we're not in the business, okay, that the federal government, this is what she's saying. When she says we're, she's talking about the government. We're not in the business of giving out money, okay? That's a key thing, key point. We're not in the business of giving out money. The only reason why we gave out money, she was specifically talking about the COVID era, was because we were in a significant situation that just had, that had to be the case, okay? So it had to be a significant reason. The Black left argue that it's, reparations, that this is a significant reason, and they're not in the business of giving out money, although reparations is demanding that they give money to Black Americans who are direct descendants of slaves. Let's let her continue.
If you are unable to find a job,
H.R. 40 creates a federal commission, an expert body charged with investigating the enduring impacts of slavery and its aftermath, and developing concrete proposals for reparations.
I guess you guys have your answer, don't you?
They already know that there's just no money for that. We are not in the business of giving out money. And honestly, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you.
Just a reminder, this is what California...
Okay, I'm going to leave it there. But oh my goodness, that was hilarious how they cut that together. The audio underneath the congresswomen, the Black Congress, saying that they want to have money given to Black Americans. And underneath that, they have Jasmine Crockett saying they know there is no money for this. Just to the Daily Caller. Perfect editing skills. I couldn't have done it better myself. Absolutely hysterical comedic timing. As someone who loves movies and film, that was perfection. That was absolutely hilarious. Okay, guys. So for starters, the way this woman speaks really annoys the crap out of me. It's like sometimes when the ratchet speaks, you're just kind of dazed and lost. You can't even believe that this is what they sound like. And it's just really ridiculous to me that she doesn't get it. So, as you saw in the Daily Caller, she kind of shot themselves in the foot. She shot herself and the other Democrat woke in the foot, because you're sitting here saying that the federal government is not in the position of giving money to the people, yet that's all this government has been doing since the previous century. The government got bigger and bigger and bigger. They give all this money out, and it's at the expense of the taxpayers. They would like to take more money away from the taxpayers and reallocate those funds to the descendants of slaves. I'm not a fan of reparations. Personally, I just think it's stupid. You'd have to go after every other country that engaged in this. It's not like it was just the Americans that was a part of this. It was a trade that happened across the globe, as wrong as it was. But if you feel a kind of way, go after the other countries as well. Don't just be coming after the United States government. That's the first thing. Secondly, why are you asking taxpayers who are today to pay for that crime? The problem that I have with the left is that it's all about past grievances, right? All about past grievances, something that they never actually went through themselves. This is oppression, you said. You heard her say that in the video. But the idea that DOGE wants to provide the opportunity to Americans $5,000, and she's got an issue with that. Well, what is $5,000 going to do if you're unemployed? Woman, what? What? What do you mean? You don't think $5,000 would be helpful to somebody who is unemployed? I mean, listen, look at what you just said, woman. I mean, how daft can you actually be? And I wonder if this kind of made it to the other Democrats realizing that Jasmine Crockett just argued for why the federal government should not give out reparations. And that you should really feel a kind of way. I mean, any black woke person who is out here trying to advocate for reparations, all these Black Lives Matter activists who are saying why they want this, you should be absolutely terrified because Jasmine Crockett, again, arguing against DOGE, arguing against President Trump, arguing against the America First agenda. She's only hurting you. And you should be absolutely terrified about what the woke and the ratchet Democrats, black Democrats in power are actually doing to you. You should be terrified about this. I mean, she's absolutely ridiculous. I think at some point you just kind of want black liberals. Okay. I don't care if you are woke. No, actually, I do care if you're woke. I think it's problematic. I think it's problematic when you have black Americans who are woke, who are liberal, who want to defend these individuals who are in power. And, I've taken it upon myself, to, try to, point out why you shouldn't, not only should you not want to behave this way, not only should you not want to be a ratchet person or a ghetto person, why you shouldn't want to behave at the bottom of behavioral standards, but why you should also not be wanting to vote for these individuals. She's arguing against for why, after discovering the major government fraud, okay, that the federal government now wants to give money to the American people, after discovering the fraud, that she's got a problem with this. Yo, I mean, come on. What is $5,000 going to do for the person that is unemployed? Are you kidding me, woman?
I got no money.
I mean, she's just ridiculous. And you guys, this episode is not long because, again, I just wanted to show you the clip from the DC Caller, from the Daily Caller, because I thought the clip was absolutely hysterical. And they do make a very good point. These are the same people that want to argue for why they should get reparations, for why Black Americans should get reparations. But let President Trump come out and say, or let President Trump and the agenda of America First say that they want to give money to the American people. Whether you agree, disagree, I'm not here to argue about that. What I am here to say is that the America First agenda wants to help the American people. That's literally in a name, okay? Make America great again, America first, putting American citizens first. And she's one of the first people that comes out and says, I'm not going to allow this. We got to stop DOGE because this is not democracy. Yet it's uncovered tremendous fraud from the federal government. You cannot have it both ways. Either it's a good idea for the federal government to give money to the American people who are deserving of it, right? Or it's not okay to give money to the American people, period. You cannot have it both ways. And this is part of the problem that I have with the ratchet. And for the people that vote for the ratchet, she won her election in a landslide, and she's arguing against everything that would actually be beneficial to her constituents. Okay. We discovered in the USAID that funding was going to other countries for HIV and AIDS, for people who had those diseases, to other countries. Yet you live in a part of Texas that in Houston, Texas, I might say specifically, that has a rise of these very diseases in your community. Okay, you have a rise of HIV and AIDS in Houston, Texas, but the money is going overseas for people with these very diseases. That is on the rise in your community, and you don't think that's a bad thing? You don't think that's a bad thing? President Trump says he would like to abolish the IRS. Oh, we have to protect these federal jobs, as if the constituency wants to keep the IRS. He wants to minimize regulation for business, which helps business owners and potential entrepreneurs. Black individuals want to build businesses. This would be incredibly helpful. Why is this a problem for you? We want to minimize the government, shrink the government, and put more power with the states, where your people would have more say-so over what they want in their state, rather than it coming from some federal bureaucracy. Why do you not like this, Jasmine Crockett? Okay. And Why are people not understanding this in her community? Like, why are people not getting this? Why are Black Americans not getting this? I mean, the fact that it was still a small minority of Black Americans that voted for President Trump, most of them being men, that is, right? Black men voted for Trump this time around at a higher rate than they did back in 2020. And obviously in 2016, Black women are trailing behind them, and not even at the rates that we should be seeing. Okay. Black women want to own businesses. They want to have good economies. They don't like the idea of being taxed at the wazoo. Okay. I'm going to need you. Stop defending people like Jasmine Crockett. Stop defending people like Tiffany Henyard. Stop defending people like Mayor Kobe. These people are problematic. They are woke. They don't actually care about you, because if she did, she would not be saying to you that the federal government has no money, okay, that federal government has no money to give to the American people when it comes to DOGE giving you money. But when it comes to reparations, oh, we should be printing up the wazoo, which only hurts the economy and the value of the dollar. She only cares about her own position. I think she was only elected because she represents the ratchet. Okay. I think that's why you had Black people vote for her in Houston. Okay. She represents the ghetto. She represents the ratchet. Okay. That is what she's about. I don't care how much money a ghetto person has. You're not going to convince me that ghetto is good for the American people. You're not going to convince me that ratchet and ghetto is good for Black folk. You're just never going to do that. Okay. You're not. Like, at all. This episode's not very long, you guys, but again, Jasmine Crockett is a problem. I have this obsession with the ratchet and the ghetto in power, the woke Black in power. And I'm going to keep making this a habit because, oh my goodness, they're both entertaining to watch. You got to keep your, composure, shields up when you're dealing with stupidity like the ghetto and the ratchet. She's clever. I will give her that. She is clever, but she's problematic. And I do think that we have to start pointing this out. And we are going to continue to do that on this channel. You guys let me know, what do you think about Jasmine Crockett pretty much destroying the reparations argument for the conservatives? And we don't have to do nothing but run that DC clip. That's it. That's all we got to do is run that DC short, and it's done. The government don't have money. They don't have money to pay people. Okay, if it doesn't have money to give to the American people, then don't be trying to fight for reparations. You get in the comments and let me know what you think about this, because I found it absolutely hysterical. I think it works out. And let me know what you think about DOGE giving money to the American people about with the $5,000. I don't hate this, not entirely. I have to get some more information on it. So if you have any information about the DOGE giving money to the American people, get in the comments, let me know, because I might be missing out on something. I don't just want to say this is a good thing without having all the details. So get in the comments, let me know what you think about Jasmine Crockett killing the reparations argument, as well as some information about DOGE giving money to the American people up to $5,000. Curious, very, very curious. Again, you guys can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Archie Financial. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Share, definitely share. We want to grow this channel. Very excited, and I'm very obsessed with the ratchet and the ghetto in power. So if there's somebody else that you know, ratchet, ghetto, who is in power, we're going to talk about all of that, because I got some more information about Tiffany Henyard, you guys. We are going to cover all of that tomorrow, because I got some more details. Oh my gosh, it's juicy. So definitely tune in tomorrow, you guys, because some more stuff. Thank you all for watching. Have a good night. God bless, and Kepla.